James Charles is coming out with his own brand called Painted soon, and in preparation for the release, he's decided to go on a bit of a PR campaign. James sat down with Cosmopolitan magazine, and they did a whole interview on his cancellation, how it affected him, and how he wants to move on from it. It's a mess, so let's get into it. It's no secret that James Charles doesn't have the best reputation. He's been caught multiple times on multiple different occasions treating his following as his own personal Tinder app, and it's got him in some major trouble. He's had a few big cancellations over these instances, and it did make a lot of people lose respect for him. He's somehow still managed to maintain a core audience, and he's still going about his business as usual. With his brand Painted coming out soon, a lot of people have been talking about how he missed his opportunity and how Painted probably won't do as well as it would have done, say, 5 years ago. Not only was beauty more in demand a few years back, but it would have been pre all his scandals, and he probably would have had way more support. Well, in an effort to maybe win some people back, James sat down and did this whole interview titled, "James Charles would like to be uncancelled. Please." Now, when I first saw this headline, I just thought, oh no, this is not going to go over well. No one has been talking about James. His scandals haven't been front and center in our minds recently. He really should have just kept to himself and launched his brand to the people who still support him. Now people are reacting to the interview, and the reactions aren't the best. At the start of the article, the question was posed to the reader: is James Charles still cancelled? We quickly realized this article is specifically being done because James is releasing Painted soon, and the person writing the interview noted that a lot is weighing on the answer. They talked about how James is the only investor in his brand, he's been working on this for years now, and it's ready to go. They covered the timeline of his scandals, right up to everything that happened in 2021 with the messages and the fans. Apparently, Cosmopolitan tried to reach out to some of the main fans who came forward about James, and one of them was looking for money in exchange for an interview, and the other had already apologized to James in private for lying about his age. James told Cosmopolitan that he did F up, but apparently denied being the G word. He said, "I feel like that word is a very popular buzzword right now, especially in politics and stuff. But the actual meaning of it has been so misconstrued. The conversation lasted 1 hour. I don't know this person, I've never met this person, nothing happened between me and this actual person. So to use that word is so categorically incorrect." When it comes to the fallout from that situation and James getting dropped by Morphe, apparently Morphe weren't the ones to drop him. James's team told Cosmopolitan that they requested the relationship to end after they saw Morphe getting backlash for still being associated with him. I'm not sure I fully buy that. I mean, James was making millions with Morphe. I highly doubt he decided out of the goodness of his heart to end things with them to save Morphe's reputation. Morphe already had a bad reputation, so I'm not sure if I believe that. James went on to explain what his life looked like during his cancellation. He said he couldn't even explain how bad that week was. He was crying every single night, and he started to have some really dark thoughts. He said sitting around the house and doing nothing really started to bother him, and he had always been the type of person to cope with situations, but he wasn't exactly coping with this one. He said, "I think I've always been someone who's been able to cope. I've been able to turn my phone off, to go see my family, to have friends over, to go to an escape room, watch a fun movie, play Mario Kart, play Minecraft, build a Lego set." With this situation, it was really scary because my coping mechanisms weren't coping. It was the first time where I was like, oh, I actually don't know what to do here. I eventually got to a point where I was like, this is not healthy, this is not good. This is getting to a really effing dark place. The most shocking thing revealed in this article is that James actually no longer speaks to his younger brother. After everything that came out, his brother stopped talking to him, and they haven't talked in 2 years. The article says, "The fallout became deeply personal when his younger brother, who works as a model in New York City, stopped talking to him because of the allegations. It's now been 2 years since they last spoke," Charles says. That's definitely the most shocking thing to me. James and his brother were super close. James introduced him to YouTube, they made videos together, and then one day, we just stopped seeing him. Knowing that his brother actually stopped talking to him and hasn't talked to him in years makes me wonder if he knows even more than we do. For him to not want to talk to his brother at all, I mean, that's huge. Now, despite everything that's happened, it's been confirmed that James is not done finding love in the DMs. He's still very much open to exploring connections in his DMs, but he did make a change and started to ask guys for their IDs before talking to them. James said, "I'm a club bouncer at this point," he says, which even still hasn't stopped the occasional breach of trust. Earlier this year, a TikTok user shared snippets of a flirtatious conversation he had with Charles, in which Charles outlines his requirements for a boyfriend. Charles also tells me he recently caught a 17-year-old trying to lie about his age by taking out a digit in his ID. I just feel like that's so risky. James is lucky to still have a career with an audience that still watches his videos despite everything that's happened. It feels so careless to put everything on the line to find love in your DMs, especially when fans are still trying to even get around the ID checks. I really wish James would just consider hiring a matchmaker that works with celebrities at this point. James talked about his journey post-cancellation and how hard it was for him. He admitted to hiring a PR firm to help him rebuild his image, and when they were trying to get him into all these events and parties, he was constantly getting rejected. Now, obviously that's stopped now and he started to get invited again, but he was shut out from events for a while. That brings us to today. They revealed that the name of his first product will be Create Paint, and it's going to be 10 tubes of different colored cosmetic paints. It sounds like we'll be looking at an August launch, as James said in his video this week that something exciting would be coming in the following weeks.
And make sure you guys follow my new makeup brand, painted.co. We have a very special announcement coming for you guys in 2 weeks, so keep your eyes peeled, and I will see you soon.
James ended his interview with the following statement on his cancellation and how we should let people have the room to grow and change. He said, "Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody messes up. Don't get me wrong, I definitely don't think people should be able to do whatever they want and not be held responsible for it. It's important that people be held accountable, but I think it's important that we allow people to grow and to learn. The idea that somebody messes up and then their entire life and career and everything that they've ever worked for should be swept out from under their feet is just horrifying." I really think James should have stuck to his audience and the people who still watch him and launched his brand to them. Doing interviews and bringing up the past isn't going to do him any favors besides reminding people of what happened and have people talking about everything. No one's really been saying anything about James beside the fact that his makeup brand is late. All that was being said was that he probably would have had more success with it if he had launched it a few years back. Now people are going to be talking about this interview and everything that he commented about his cancellation. I don't know, maybe James thinks all press is good press, but something tells me he would have been better off to just focus on promoting his brand and staying out of drama. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think about everything down below, and I'll see you next time.